Because of the Joneses, who served a mission in Myanmar, we're focusing our efforts there.
On our mission, we learned how to do humanitarian projects. We learned what kind of projects to do. We learned how to plan them. And maybe most importantly, we had made some contacts over there with a couple of really credible, high-character organizations.
When they had the big typhoon there, the government would not let anybody come into that area to help them. Clarence had the contacts.
We had raised $56,000. In each village that we went into, I asked the village leader how many people would have their lives changed permanently by our project. And when we came home with that $56,000, we had lifted the lives of 26,000 people.
We're going into the outlying villages, away from the metropolitan centers, and doing these schools. This is the mode of travel to get to some of the schools. We get on the boat, and that's how they get the materials in. That's how they go to the grand opening. The village would build the schools.
We expect them to do all that they can do for themselves.
It's their school when they're done. They have ownership in it. We think that through education, people will be free faster and be able to better themselves faster. When Clarence and Jane come back, they'll just talk about how the villages have changed so much. Here's a picture of the official ceremony. And it's a big thing to these villages when they come to do the grand opening. See Clarence and Jane and their family members in the front row. Coming back with that accountability that the project has been done is so important.
As we walk into their village, the entire village will be there to greet us. The whole village, with warmth and laughter and appreciation, is humbling.
Where's the well?
The well is about right there.
The ox cart ride in there to get there was memorable.
This village are more poor and working the farming or one day look at. They are working the factory and farming.
Their only source of water is to dig out big, large reservoirs in the ground to catch rainwater.
And that water gets green with algae and stagnant.
It doesn't have a fence around it, so the water buffalo wade in there, and they come there to drink, in addition to the people dipping water out of that pond in their buckets and carrying it back to the village. It's just awful.
We hope this helps a lot. I remember looking at one of those little old ladies as you know, the water was coming out of the well, and the look on her face was that she had never ever expected to see anything like this in her life. She was blown away. It's the only way I can describe the look on her face, like, wow, I never ever thought I'd see this.
The well is now not only closer and more convenient to the village, but they fill up their water bucket pretty fast, and it's clean water. There was just little wooden benches in here for them to sit on, and this is where they were.
You were a teacher too?
Wow.
So we built the new school.
I didn't shake your hand. I didn't shake your hand.
I would like to thank to the donor and I'm very happy to welcome you all.
How many kids is this? This was a large village that didn't have a school. It was nothing, and
There'll be a lot of kids come to that school.
Considering that we know how to go over there and do the projects, and we have the contacts over there to accomplish the projects, and there are people who are willing to contribute to make those projects happen, how can we not go back?
Women's Center is a really big deal because you've seen, and the women are, well, I got the impression that they're as important in financially providing for their families as the men are. Mm-hmm. You agree with that, Clarence? Mm-hmm. And to bring these women in and educate them in some manner, whether it be on computers or whether how to run a sewing business or whatever it is, and educate these women is a big deal. You cannot understand how grateful they are. They have nothing. It gives them hope for their children, hope for generations to come.
A couple of years ago, Jane said, you know, there's some other places in the world that I'd like to visit before I die, rather than just going back to Burma every year. And I says, yeah, that's true, Jane, and places I'd like to visit too. Maybe after we die and we get to heaven, Heavenly Father might say, Clarence, Jane, that was a really good thing you did over in Burma. And we might say, well, thank you. And we would have done more, Heavenly Father, but we wanted to take a trip to Spain instead. You know, when you think about that and knowing that we can help that many people, how can we not go?
One thing that we've really found is it doesn't take very much to do a lot of good.